My name is Ryan Burnett. I grew up in West Babylon. I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 in September. I started a heating and air conditioning company back in 2006. So next month's going to be 19 years in business. So it's pretty cool, but that's not all we do now. So I kind of want to dedicate more of our YouTube channel to the ins and outs of what we do on a daily basis, and how different opportunities have come across. Not only do we have the heating and air conditioning company now that does about $3 million a year, but we also run a full general contracting company. And last year we did about $3 million with that company. Wow. So this video is basically the overview of what we have going on, because once again, it's a full-time heating and air conditioning company. It's a full-time general contracting company. It's a full-time glass company. It's a full-time nonprofit, all under one roof. And it all is associated, I touch each one of those businesses multiple times every day of my life.
Did you have it all planned out, or was it kind of just a natural transition into that first business?
Basically, you could take a plan and kind of throw it out, because nothing ever really goes to plan. Yeah. You could have a vision, here's my vision of my end goal, but it's very hard. Through the transition of getting to your goal, your road is not a straight one. It's forwards, backwards, getting kicked in the nut. A lot of things happen along the way. So, but you definitely need a vision. You definitely need to have an idea of all right, this is why I'm starting a company. Everyone's all about, money, money, money. My thing was, I want to be like the Petro. I want to be that name. I want people to think of Ryan Anthony's Heating and be like, as soon as their boiler breaks or something happens and they need air conditioning, they're going to think of me. And it's how do I achieve that without being all about money? You know what I mean? So it was always more of that focus rather than let me make a gazillion dollars.
Have you ever made a decision that cost you big money, or relationships, or time?
I think my biggest financial mistake was when I was subcontracting for so many people, and I didn't realize anything about workman's compensation. So I started getting all this work and I started hiring all these people, and then I got a big workman's comp audit, and I realized what workman's comp is, because I wasn't paying it. I was paying $200 a month. Wow. But then I got an audit for 50 grand.
Holy shit.
And I was like, well, what's this? Now you budget that 50 grand into the money you were making. You're like, all right, I didn't make any money, I lost money.
Yeah.
It's a bittersweet thing, because when I was subcontracting literally for 15 different people, it kept us busy and it helped me grow my business, and I bought trucks and whatever else. But I literally went into debt more because of it. But then I, started raising people's awareness of that we're around. There's more trucks on the road. There's more guys they see in the deli. So it's a bittersweet thing. Did it cost me money and a hard lesson? Yeah. But it helped build my company at the same time. It's tough because would I have played it safe for so long? Because once again, you could have a business and own a business, but you're the business, then it's not a sellable entity. And it's not. The reason I came to that understanding was because I got a hernia. I got the hernia on September 17th, which is heating season. That's when it starts. And I got the surgery September 30th. Wow. You're supposed to take 4 to 6 weeks off. I took 4 days off because that was a turning point for me. Because if I didn't get back to work, you only make money so many months out of the year. I didn't make my nut for the year, and I would potentially lose customers that I worked really hard to get, because if they don't have me, they're gonna call someone else. And that was always the worries. Like I said, once again, it wasn't about the money, it was making sure that I make the customer happy. Yeah. And that's I think, I've never changed that approach. That's still to this day the most important thing. And sometimes you gotta lose a little bit to keep a customer happy, and it's not their fault or yours, but that's just the way it goes. Yeah. So I realized I'm not invincible. I was 29 at the time. I could easily lose everything. And this was a hernia. What if something catastrophic happened? What if I broke my leg? That's not catastrophic, but you're out for months. I can't work. At least with the hernia, I went back to work, and on the heavy lifting days, I had other friends that helped me on getting boilers in and stuff like that.
When it comes to starting a business, what would you say about taking risk in general? It's necessary, but what's your take on it?
Well, one of my favorite sayings now that I'm older, and I realized this saying probably maybe 5-6 years ago, is jump and grow your wings on the way down. It's the best advice I can give, because like people will dwell on an idea for a very long time, and then they get to a point where they can't even execute that idea. Either they're too old, or they're into something else, or they have a family, and the idea just goes and dies. So if you get an idea, granted, you don't want to jump into everything, but if do your research on it, find out if it's something like you can do, and then it's like, don't take no for an answer. Like don't take failure as an option, and just kind of bob and weave. I think I hired people and paid them more than they should have been paid, hoping that they would treat my company like I treat it. And that was definitely a learning curve. The reason people hire people is to take some stress off their plate. And at one time I had a couple of guys or whatever that really were making a lot of money and adding to my stress. And then you realize as you go, like, because what you think is, and like this is going to happen to people, is you think that like, all right, if this guy quits or I fire him, I don't have a business, or my life's going to be really hard. And then what happens usually is you end up getting rid of that person, or that person quits, and then you realize, hey, you know what? This is better. I'm making more money, I'm not stressed, and things are good.
Wow. So
it's kind of like an adjustment. Yeah. This is being real. It's not all good. It's not all bad either, but this is the truth of being in business. I'm not crying with 2 loaves of bread under my arm. I do have nice things as well. So like, you get this, but you also have that, and it's kind of a balance.
Yeah.